All right, all right, all right. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Go ahead and give this a thumbs up in the video, not the comment section, but in the video. Thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me clearly. All right. I hope you're all having an amazing Saturn day. Shout out to Sicilia. Got a bunch of beautiful souls with us today. Shout out to Belgium. Shout out to Ontario, Canada. So what we're gonna do today, we're just gonna spend 2 hours, doing shout outs to wherever you guys are from. Feeling a good, really good energy today. I hope you guys are all having an amazing full moon. It's kinda like the past 2 days, but we're leaving that energy now. It still is what it is. I'm gonna make sure that my mic isn't too loud. One moment. I think we're good. This is a great comment. Shout out to Dustin. You know, I think Patriot Pantry could reach out to me and I could give them some pointers, spice things up a bit. Today's live stream is sponsored by the entire island of Puerto Rico, of Puerto Rico. Shout out to Rice and Beans and Tostones and Maduros and I love y'all. It's been a week. It's beautiful to reconnect. We got about 200 people, 200 aliens with us. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Just going to say hi to some people, let these notifications go out, and then kick things off as usual. Yeah, Mr. Jansen, when we meet up together, we're going to have Gucci, matching Gucci tracksuits. Like real brothers. I hope you're doing amazing, though, brother. I wonder where your travels have brought you to. Josh, it's great to ask questions regarding gematria or decoding in general, but regarding decoding people's names, oh, sorry, I see your follow-up question. You said you decoded your daughter's name. It has a password I haven't used for 10 years. I have a series of numbers that surround my life, and now it's amazing. It's called syncretism. We're there, brother. Shout out to Josh. I hope you're doing amazing. Lucky Luigi, I hope you're doing amazing, brother. Dan, your official 20 minutes as a subscriber. That's very good. That's true, Juan. We need to have a little bit of sazon, a little bit of adobo, spice it up a bit. Like I said, we just kicked off a couple minutes ago, so we're going to let these notifications go out and then take it from there. Matt Ball, I hope you are doing amazing, brother. Appreciate you. All is good. Life is light. I love to see this. Alfred is sending love, positivity, and abundance to all. Gabriel, I hope you're doing amazing, brother. Sending you lots of love. You said, can you talk about how to properly feed our domesticated dogs and cats for a long and healthy life? Sending you and the pack lots of fresh hummus on the daily. I love that. I ate a little bit of hummus a minute ago. So just follow what their natural diet is, and it kind of just like sorts it all out, right? Unfortunately, with dogs have been so domesticated to the point where it's kind of difficult. A lot of the time, they won't even want to naturally eat what they're supposed to, which is, and I'm sure we're all adults here, so we can handle this, but effectively decaying flesh is what a dog would want to eat. We see this often with wolves, even though wolves can, yeah, they're not obviously dogs, but getting back to the cat thing, cats are pure blown carnivores, so cats must be consuming flesh. And I would avoid the fish because a lot of the time people feel like cats should be eating like tuna fish from a can. That's nonsense. Don't do this. Cats aren't good fishers. They're not fishermen. But yeah, that's another conversation. But to answer your question very simply, cats and dogs are effectively carnivores, but dogs will desire to hide meat, hide flesh, raw flesh into corners and like dark areas and leave it for at least a day or so to start to pre ferment, and then it would consume it. But let's be very straightforward about this. Cats and dogs are not vegans or any of that mess. So do not do that. They're not plant based. Humans are. Cats and dogs are not. We must eat what our digestive system is designed to digest. Thank you so much, Mr. Jansen, for stating this. If anyone has any questions, of course, I'll be getting around to any super chats. I appreciate the support, really means the world to me. And we will be touching on any questions that I see pop up along the way. In all capitals would be best. Srijith, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but I'm sending you lots of love over to India. I would love to visit India someday, so save me a spot on your couch. We'll eat some chana masala together and some rotis, and we'll share a chai, and it'll be awesome. Warrior Bones asks a good question. What's your preferred alcoholic beverage of choice? It depends. It depends on the mood. I personally know how to brew beer, so I got into that hobby a while back. Really a big fan of fresh, high quality beer. I'm not the biggest fan of just any old beer. Also, a huge fan of natural wine. So if I could find any natural or biodynamic wine, I will definitely go for that, especially if I'm ever traveling and I'm able to get a grape varietal that's available locally. That's really awesome to have that opportunity. And also, over the past like 3 to 4 years, I've been diving a little bit deeper into Scotch. So, whiskey, and that's a whole different thing to nerd out about. So, I have a lot to learn from my Scottish friends out there in the wolf pack. I'm not sure how many people over in Scotland are following along this journey of ours, but I appreciate them for creating something delicious to get you through those harsh winters. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Scotch lately. I just don't know. I don't have enough of the like available time to pour my heart and soul into learning about it. But at the time that I was getting more into beer, I did take up it as a hobby and got into brewing it. I'm a big proponent. And by the way, this comes back to the idea of like becoming an entrepreneur or becoming somebody who's in a more like a leadership role. I think it's important to consider creating all the things you consume. All right. So, whatever it is that you're into consuming, create it or at least try to, right? If you're somebody who loves pizza, you're obsessed with pizza, learn how to make pizza. If you're somebody who loves bread, learn how to make bread. If you're somebody who loves, wine, go to a vineyard and go ask questions if their winemaker is available. And if he's not or she is not, go ask somebody who's working there, hey, is there any time or date or, thing I could sign up for where I could come check out what you guys are up to? Learn about the process that's behind the outcome. Because a lot of the time as consumers, we're just solely in the outcome. And I believe one of the things that I learned very early on was to just be a part of the process of whatever it is that I am passionate about or interested in or magnetized to, whatever I'm gravitating towards. So maybe that's part of my thing with the whole scotch. It's like I'm trying to wait to become a specialist in it until I get the opportunity to go maybe rent a car in Scotland and drive around for a little bit and check out some spots. Rash is asking, what island is that? That is Puerto Rico. Sabi mentions, imagine we could really experience what we think about, what we do. Your imagination. It's just thoughts compiled off of things you've sensed in some way, shape, or form, whether that be smell, touch, taste, hear, etc. You are now able to recreate a lot of that stuff in thought. And remember, thought is Thoth, it's Mercury, it's Hermes. That is your thoughts. Just like money. Money is just energy, it's thoughts. So if there's something that's getting in the way of you being able to do an experience that you desire, and money is a part of that transaction in some way, shape, or form, I want you to just remind yourself of what I just said. Money is just energy. The energy is thoughts. It's all coming back to the mind because the mind is all. Holden, great to have you here with us. You're one of the few. You guys are probably well aware now that my channel is effectively being shadow banned. I don't know if I should say this term, but I'm not in lack about this. I am going with the flow. There's no problems. It is what it is. It's just part of my journey. But it seems to be based off my last two uploads that a lot of people who subscribe to my channel or a follower of, who are along this journey with us, they're not getting notifications anymore. They've been unsubscribed from my channel. I have no idea what's going on with that, but eh, whatever. If this is the obstacle they're going to throw in my way, I've reminded myself every single time in the now moment that every door that closes, 100 more open. So if the algorithm or whatever's going on here in this realm of this particular social media platform, if it's going to create some instability and obstacles and slow down the speed at which we're moving, that is fine. I'm cool with that. But it is pretty surprising to get the amount of emails and messages that I've received over the past month of people saying that they're not even getting notifications anymore of when I put stuff out. And that's the same thing for these live streams. These lives used to get upwards of 700, 800 people really early on, like right when we were starting. It's about half that now. So no complaints. As I said, it is what it is. I'm fine with all, but yeah, just I guess something we have to Chug through. Nope, same microphone. I am not sure. Hiloha, Nahi, Nani, Hiloha. No, I am not sure. I haven't delved too deep into human design, but of course, naturally, with what I've been focused on and what I've been sharing with the world, I get a lot of people coming to me that talk about it. So I'm fascinated in it, but by no means a specialist. And I think it's interesting. But I suppose what I think is really important is learn about the systems that make up this thing called human design. Go learn about the origins of what this thing it's like a jambalaya, it has a, a bunch of different ingredients. Go learn about those ingredients. Not trying to take anyone away from human design, just what I've found over time. A lot of people that are interested or fascinated or so-called specialists in human design, they don't really know too much about the independent systems that make up this holistic system called human design. That might not be safe, because you start sharing ideas and thoughts and concepts that have no basis. And when you're asked the tough questions like why, you don't have an answer. And I think that's important. What happens a lot with this human design thing is when people don't have the answer to the question, they say, well, it's just what the guy that made it said. And that's not, yeah, that's very dangerous. We see this a lot in cults. And I'm not trying to say that human design is a cult. That's not my point here. It's just when your default to the why question is, well, it's just what he or she says, you are no longer a part of it anymore. You're a cog in the machine. And it's beautiful to be able to ask the why question and see how somebody seamlessly can navigate it all. You could tell very quickly where somebody's at with something based on just asking why. Deleted truths. I really appreciate you mentioning this, but I have had tons of rest. I'm feeling really good. One thing I can say though is I've been working overtime lately because I'm trying to get this crypto decoding blueprint out to y'all. I'm really stoked on this. I was going to have a little thing prepared for you all to share, but it's just the timing of it all and how everything's going today. And then, of course, I have tomorrow this Red Pill podcast. So I'll be sharing it there just because of, again, the timing. But I will be publicly releasing some information about this crypto decoding blueprint as of right now. It has about 15 full videos. It is going to be packed with gnosis. Like, to give everyone an idea here, the expansion mastermind course had about 450 or so slides that make up what's been shared already. So if you go to watersabove.com and you check out the first thing on the website called Decoding Mastermind Course, that's comprised of like close to 500 slides. But this crypto decoding blueprint has already 250. So it is so packed with so many visuals and explanations and breakdowns of everything that I get the most frequently asked questions regarding. So I keep over these years getting similar questions, and I've just kind of said to myself, you know what? I need to pause whatever I'm doing. And this was about, 4 or 5 months ago. I said to myself, I need to pause what I'm doing and I need to make a comprehensive, beginner friendly decoding course for crypto. Just something short and sweet that will take everyone from an absolute beginner level to a more intermediate. It was necessary because of all the questions I receive. And to clear up some confusion and some ideas, a big part of my work is taking mythology and kind of basing everything back into that. But furthermore, those who've taken my decoding mastermind course, you're aware that it's not just about the mythology, it's how the mythology intertwines with the human anatomy, because humans are the ones that design this whole system. All right. So it's all based back in the mind of man. And that's what I've been trying to teach here. So everything that's being taught within this decoding crypto blueprint is going to be as user friendly and as beginner friendly as possible, but it's going to just put in place these grandiose theoretical ideas that I've scattered throughout years worth of videos that I've shared here on YouTube. I have over 207, I believe 260 free YouTube videos available. Anyone could go watch them whenever you'd like. And it's just scattered with a lot a lot of material, and I've thought to myself, what would be the best thing that I could do right now? What would make what we're doing here at Waters Above the most useful, have the most utility? It would be to create this crypto decoding blueprint. And another big reason why is because we are in a bull run, and a crypto bull run is something that's, not showing up too often. So a lot of distractions are happening right now. A lot of people are falling for psyops, a lot of shiny objects catching your attention. And I believe what I'm about to release will be so undeniable and so packed full of truth that resonates, that will make it so, okay, everything that's been going on here at Waters Above will now have a solidified, comprehensive step by step protocol for how to decode. And you can actually take a lot of this stuff that I'll be doing with these cryptos, and you could apply it to stocks. You could apply it to pretty much anything that trades on the market. I even get into things like precious metals and the alchemical property of it all, and how it's tied back to the mythologies and then ultimately tied back to the body. So, big project that I'll be coming out with very soon. I'm very excited. Been working super hard behind the scenes to release this. And the good news for everyone that already has my decoding mastermind course, it will be included in that course. So if you're somebody who wants this full comprehensive course, just go over to watersabove.com, go to this first section here, click, and then you'll scroll down. You could read the about section giving a breakdown of what's covered, and then under overview there's drop down tabs. You could click on all those and get just an idea of what will be covered in each course lesson. And then there will be an additional 15 videos added to this as part of this whole project. So I'm really excited to get this one out for you guys. And in the meantime, let's get back to today's live. Just one second. Let me make sure that everything is running smoothly. All right. Let's get back to some questions. Alfred, I appreciate you sending lots of love. Whew. Tina Paris, I hope you're doing well. I almost anticipated this question today because of some things that I've shared over on X. And it's, we should just address this right now because it's so fresh. It's so fresh. But over here on X, if you guys want to check out what I have going on over there, it's at Waters Above, but above is spelled ABVE. Make sure you write it out correctly. There are many scammers pretending to be me, but this is my official account. Alternatively, what you could do is go to this Linktree link, and then it will have all my official accounts in there, and you could check that out. But all right, this is kind of one of the things that happened. So I've been getting a lot of questions about my opinion on the recent podcast between Terrence Howard and Joe Rogan. And I just shared this to kind of lay down the foundation of why we need to be skeptical or practice discernment, which is key in this whole seeking truth thing. And I simply shared he is a Hollywood actor, which is a fact. It's not an opinion. It's not a judgment. All right. And I'm actually quite surprised how triggered people got from me sharing this. This is important. Why are people getting triggered when you share just a fact? Like, there was no judgment here. There was no like, I don't like this individual. I think they're awful. I think they're wrong. I didn't even say that they're wrong. This is how like simple people are in this world, that they get so triggered. It's like this daddy culture, this daddy culture is very toxic, where like we find somebody who so-called has truth and we immediately just latch onto them and they take on that father figure role. All right. So I already saw this coming. I knew of this. Now, this I found very interesting because there are parallels, and one of which is this whole Diddy thing that's going on right now, Puff Daddy. So Sean Combs, or Diddy, has been seen recently on surveillance footage physically assaulting a woman. And what's so, interesting at this point right now is it seems that a lot of people are glazing over this history that this individual Terrence Howard has with this particular same offense. And it's not just like a one-off situation, like it has been going on throughout the years, all right? Over the course of a decade. Over the course of a decade, all right? So this isn't like brand new. This isn't like somebody who was 20 years old, did something stupid once. This is perpetual, all right? And not even just to somebody that lives close to them. They were doing this on a flight with a flight attendant. So, all I did was I brought this up and I made a couple points on this, and it's not to start drama, but it's just point out important things that I feel like nobody wants to address, or at least a lot of people are so enamored by the individual behind these acts that we're not going to take this stuff into consideration regarding, the energy behind the individual. So all I said was, I bet those who are not so pleased at by how Diddy has been acting are calling Terrence Howard a genius. And I shared a truth that when intellectualism is instantly categorized as genius, you'll know exactly why the world is going in the direction it's headed. And that scientism is the parasite of our expansion of consciousness. And it's really important to look at the way we treat each other, the way we physically treat each other, all right, beyond just words we speak. Because we've seen so many allegedly smart individuals do awful things to other people. And especially you see it with cult leaders, where cult leaders grow a large following by how they speak. All right. Now, furthermore, this particular individual that we're talking about right now is a fucking Hollywood actor. Do you understand how you need to be of the 1% of the 1% to be in a Hollywood feature film as a main role? I was born in New York City, all right, in Brooklyn, New York. I know how many people have been fucking killing themselves to make it to even be like a scene in 1 second of a movie, let alone be a star. All right. And I did listen to about 20 to 30 minutes of this new interview that this guy has with Joe Rogan. And he very early on mentions that it wasn't his purpose to be an actor and that it was this other thing. And it's like, bruh, they don't let anyone into this who just like knocks on the door and says, I want to try out for a fucking movie. Wake up. You aren't able to get to that level unless you've done some nefarious shit. It's just how this whole entertainment business goes. And if there is a worst, like I'm not here to put the ego in and say one industry is better than the other, but Hollywood is like fucking awful, man. It makes what's going on in the music industry look like child's play. Because this is what influences the whole world through optics. It's called Hollywood, the wood used from the holly tree that druids would use to make their magic wands. It's called spell casting. All right. This is a thing that this particular individual put his whole life into. And now here we are so many years later after the career has become what it is. And we think that doesn't still exist within the man? Just like we think beating a woman in public in front of her own children is also has left the man? It's like when we see videos of Joe Biden saying racist stuff in his 30s and 40s, and then we go on to say, oh, he's no longer racist because he's in the Democratic Party or whatever. It's like racism doesn't just leave a man at 40 fucking years old. Beating people and abusing people doesn't just leave you at 30 or 20 it's a part of you. Do we not understand this? And you want to know, I was kind here. I was kind. I said, we know hurt people hurt people. That's all. This doesn't offend me. I'm just pointing it out. I know that this violence that we enact on other people is usually because we've been abused ourselves. I'm compassionate about this whole thing. I'm just like, why can't we see deeper into this? It's important, man. Anywho, it's very simple, all right? It's very simple here. And I'll wrap up everything I shared. I'll just read it through so that we can get it out of the way and then we'll move on to some of my thoughts about this. Again, I anticipated a lot of people have been asking me about this lately, and it's important to address it. All I said was we know hurt people because those who abuse, those who give us the gift of life, are soldiers, soul dyers, soul killers. And if all it takes is being an intellectual to convince people of your ability to disrupt the system, what about your actions that actually disrupted someone's life? Someone you love, someone you share children with, in this case. That's not a disruptor of the system. That's not a leader. That's not a genius. That's the behavior of a professional boy, of an actor, not a man. It's very simple. Now, a lot of people want to know my take on the interview itself and what's going on with the patents and all of this stuff, and we'll keep it short and sweet, and then we'll move on, and then if anything else comes up along the way, we'll address it. But I'll start off with this. I am not against this particular person. I don't know who they are. I've never spoke to them. I've never shook hands with them. I've never shared a beer with them. All I know them as is a Hollywood actor. And I'm actually fine to keep it that way. But beyond that, I listened to about 20, 30 minutes of the interview, and this is a case of somebody who's an incredible speaker. I actually feel like very similar in a lot of ways to the way that this individual articulates himself when he's talking about something he's passionate about. He is literally serving his purpose, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So I give my flowers to that. All right. By the way, everything that I'm talking about today, I'm trying to be as neutral about it as possible so you don't feel like I'm just like hating on somebody, because that's not the case here. I'm just pointing out, what it is that my intuition on it all. So I have nothing against this person. I don't know who they are. As for what I'm aware of, them being physically abusing women, that I absolutely have a problem with. And I think you're a piece of fucking shit if you do that. Like, I know that people are going to be like, well, Waters, I thought you were the kind, spiritual, nice. Fuck that, dude. Beating a woman? Fuck you. Period. Fuck you. You're trash. I'm sorry. Like, it's over. It's over. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how smart you are. Your smart qualities are not the man that you are. It's simple. Now let's move on to the interview. I listened to it. I listened to enough to be able to digest what's going on here. Incredible speaker, awfully smart at articulating the ideas and thoughts that he has. But he made a claim that I think is tough, and it's that he has 97 patents. And I looked into this actually a little bit just to like double check, because I know 99% of people that watch this interview didn't fucking check, and they're like, yeah, you sound smart enough to have all the. First of all, applying for patents isn't the same thing as being granted a patent. All right. That's one really important thing to point out. Second, he does have patents under, I think it's T. Deshaun Howard. He does. He has, I think, about 11. And they're all design patents. They're not, by the way, I'm speaking this off the dome. I looked into this very, very quickly, and I'm if I'm wrong about what I'm saying, please correct me. But instead of correcting me off of something you heard, I want you to correct me off of something you've researched, something you've actually looked into on your own, not some shit that you heard during this interview. All right? Because anyone can say what they've done and what they've accomplished, but it's another thing to actually, when you're making a claim about having 97 patents, that's a big fucking claim. Okay? Especially because anybody could just go research this and look it up for themselves and quickly dispute it and prove it to be false. All right, which I'm sure a lot of people have. So, as far as I'm aware, he has 11 patents granted to his particular name and zero utility patents. It is all design patents. So, at the end of the day, he didn't invent anything besides toys. He invented toys. He invented models that could be used from a design perspective. It would be no different than me sketching out the shape of a beer mug that I want to design, and then I was granted the patent for the design of the beer mug, not the fucking beer mug that is really in production that is being utilized by people throughout the world to hold beer so that you could drink from. Okay? Design patents are very easy to get. And as far as I'm aware, zero utility patents. And this now brings us into another place where it's like, well, if there's no 80 some odd other patents that are available to find, then what's going on here? Are we just talking now or what's? See, one of the things that I love about the New World Order is they're so shitty at lying, and they make sure to get people that they put in place that they know can kind of play the role and fulfill their desires for them. And it's like NASA 2.0. And funny enough, that's kind of the debate here is a lot of people want to know, like, with this level of intellectualism that we've seen displayed by Terrence Howard, does this now make all the flat earthers look dumb? Well, I mean, the flat earthers make themselves look dumb all the time. We didn't need some new Hollywood actor to do that for us. But furthermore, I just think that a lot of people now have taken so much from this particular interview and they did very little research, very little like, diving deep into it. And they were just in awe of somebody who's great at talking, who's really solid at speaking. And there's nothing, hey guys, that's what a pastor does every fucking Sunday. We see it happen every time in every church. Sorry. But when we find out that the pastor rapes little boys, then we're like, oh shit, I'm not going to go to that church anymore. Right? Don't you kind of feel that way most of the time? So, physically, psychologically, and all forms of abuse towards the mother of your child for the course of maybe upwards of a decade is somehow swept under the rug because you want to talk about Walter Russell? Wake the fuck up, everyone. Wake the fuck up. It's time. It's time to waterboard yourselves. Go back to watching movies. It's fun when they're just actors. But like I don't need Leonardo DiCaprio to somehow like reinvent the wheel. Just keep being an actor. It's great. We love what you've done for us. It's called entertaining us. I just find it fishy how this particular interview went from being like if you look at Joe Rogan's recent interviews, you'll see 400,000, 500,000, 350,000, 600,000, 5 million on the Terrence Howard. Like, bro, they are pushing this shit on purpose. They did the same thing with the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp. This is a strategy. What is the greatest weapon of all weapons? It's not a fucking bazooka or a drone missile. It's the internet. You want it spicy. I mean, here we are. Is the spice level enough? This is part of the process of it's just subversion. Now, I know this is going to trigger a lot of people, probably mostly men and intellectuals. And I had a lot of people commenting on this. Like, I mean, I rarely do. You guys know I rarely do this. Okay, I rarely do this. But let's look at some of the comments here because yeah, the freed M culture. Yeah, this is classic. So one of my favorite things to say is E equals MC squared is Einstein equals married cousin twice. Yeah, genius. Genius and pedophile. Okay, so let's keep it moving. What's going on? So it sounds like you didn't listen to the, okay, whatever. There has to be some juice in here. Somebody says knees together. It's a boy. I wouldn't even venture far enough to make that claim, but that's fascinating. There's a lot of this going on too, by the way, in the truther community, like people trying to find that every single female must be a man and every single man must be a female. It's like, whatever, man. I'm not even going to go there. Okay, good one. Tyrone. Shout out to Tyrone. Tyrone said, "What happened to appreciating the art? The rappers you cite in your videos are known for child sacrifice. They tell us in their symbolism, the people they roll with. It seems you're supposed to trigger. No, so Tyrone, literally, Terrence Howard admitted to assaulting his wife. Admitted. He has he has a restraining order against him. This is not like hearsay. Like again, anyone could be like, "Oh yeah, I heard about the child sacrifice ritual in Hollywood Hill." It's like, okay, well, we're discussing it, we're talking, but the cold hard evidence is just speculation at that point. There's no correlation between the two. Terrence Howard could be a serial murderer and a genius. Absolutely, that's a typical sign we get, but you want to know what's funny? Who's the people that are categorizing this particular individual as a genius? My whole thing, going back to the origin of the post, is let's stop abusing this fucking word genius. We're abusing it. We're gifting it out to the wrong individuals. Like, let's just get rid of it altogether. Stupid. Putting particular people on a pedestal because they know how to talk, because they know how to think a little bit deeper than most people. Fuck that. I don't want any of you to be bamboozled by me. I have nothing to share that's new. There's not been one thing that Waters Above has said that is new. We are borrowing everything forever since the fucking dawn of time by remembering it. We're like wiping away cosmic amnesia. There's nothing new here. There's no genius here. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and perhaps some of us remember more than others, but beyond that, congratulations, you could be a serial murderer and categorized as a genius because the system called Zionism that runs the world is fucking psychopathic. Sick. That's great. Okay, Carl Thompson. No, Terrence has spent time working with plant medicine to become a better person. None of us are perfect. Each being have okay, this is great. A stretch to compare Diddy, who brings nothing positive to humanity, to someone like Terrence who endlessly no, but that's the thing. It's that people hate Diddy so much more now because they watched a video of him beating a woman. You're taking what I'm saying out of context. You see the problem here? This is why people are getting triggered because they love genius culture. We're like addicted to finding some smart fucking guy. Like I'm saying this right now, and I want to be very clear with everyone, because my soul and like my value is beyond this human vessel that I host right now. If you enjoy what I do here just because I sound smart, then stop fucking listening to me, because I don't want to get you to feel like I have some information that's mind-blowing. I want to make you feel things. I want to make you tap into shit that is cosmic, that is beyond this physical realm. Victoria, appreciate you. Okay. Another, and we'll end this soon. We'll end this very soon. So you're saying if a man committed any crime or wrongdoing in his past, then goes on to do something great for mankind, like cure cancer or whatever it may be, it should be suppressed and or discredited based on his Wikipedia bio. LMAO, watch the damn interview. Fake news, Trump 24. Yo, you're a fucking legend. Whoever Bushmaster is, you're a legend, dude. So it's not the point. It's not the point. I never told anyone don't watch the interview. I didn't say discrediting anything. Um, that has nothing to do with the post. Like you see, it's just fucking amazing. People don't know how to read. Okay. Nudes in profile, by the way. Finding old news don't make him not intelligent. How come he can't be a smart guy that made a mistake years ago? He didn't make a mistake years ago. He made many mistakes for 10 years against females by physically assaulting them. Like, that's not like I dropped my phone and the screen cracked. Fuck. Do we have to explain this to people? It's like only a man would say such retarded things. And I'm not I'm not like trying to promote feminism. That's all bullshit too. Feminism was created by Zionism. It was created at the Frankfurt School. You want me to keep going? Like, I'll fucking tear this whole thing to shreds. I'm not here for that. I'm just saying that a true leader and a true, visionary and a disruptor is not someone who's super smart in public, but then beats the fuck out of their family on the sidelines. I'm just being real. You don't like it? I'm sorry. It's time to move on, I guess. But how are you abusing people, bro? How are you doing this systematic? He's a serial wife beater. He's a serial wife beater. All right, we'll move on. We got enough in on that. It's gone. Let me just quick summary. I don't know who Terrence Howard is. Waters Above do not have any active. I have never been granted a patent. Okay, but as far as I'm aware, the claims here are hyperbole, I believe. And if that's what it takes for us to believe in somebody, how many patents they have, it doesn't prove anything scientifically, because getting a patent doesn't prove anything in life. It's just a fucking patent that is issued to you by whomever works at the patent office. What was going on with Thomas Edison? You guys read about that, PSYOP? All right. So I have no issues with this particular individual in the podcast talking about scientism. I don't know who they are, but as a human being who is known to have been essentially a serial wife beater, I have zero desire to go venture deeper into the so-called wisdom that they have to provide me. And after the 20 to 30 minutes of the interview that I listened to, all I'm seeing is the same shit that's being taught to you in the Kabbalion. You guys want to learn everything about what Terrence Howard is talking to you about? Go fucking read the laws of Hermeticism. Like, it's just the laws of the universe. Triple X Tentacion was talking about this. He was murdered. All right? You want to learn? You want to hear fucking truth? Well, listen to this guy. I know it doesn't look like the dude who's going to deliver you the sauce, but this is it. This is it. This is actually Terrence Howard with utility. I'm not saying this is a moral example, by the way. I'm not sure what's this guy's track record of relationships, but I'm just trying to say there's nothing really too new here. Like, even the Walter Russell thing, like, this goes back to like the 1920s. There's nothing new here. Yeah, it's just the laws of the universe that have been, shared in a scattered out, very scattered way, in a very articulated way. And it's, to average people, it sounds unbelievable and amazing. It's like, kind of reminds me of this. If you're a musician who's just getting into music and you watch like Polyphia, or you watch like Steve Vai or Yngwie Malmsteen or Joe Satriani playing a guitar, you would be like, holy shit, this is crazy. But over time, as you get better at the instrument, you learn the techniques and the strategies and everything that's involved in it. And then you just go, okay, I see what's going on here. But as a person who's just a consumer of it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is amazing. It's like watching somebody shred the guitar. Then you learn the guitar and you're like, "Oh, I guess what's going on here." It's not as shocking anymore. Lola Blondo, you said 21 months. That's amazing. How time flies when you're in awesome company. Much love and gratitude. I appreciate you. I know we're getting a little spicy today, but we needed to. Yeah, I addressed that. Pass the coffee. It's good that you're aware. Oh yeah, these are comments that are coming from a lot earlier in the chat, but we'll now kind of chill with the chat for a little bit and answer some questions. Paula Rose, that's because that's the diet that the dog is designed for. Lolo Blondo said, I'm Scottish but detest whiskey. That's okay. That's all good. Oh yeah, I think Money Paradise. I think I've tried this one, Redbreast 12 year. Thank you. Lola Blondo asks, "What's the healthiest plant milk to make? I find cashew the easiest, but I don't think that's the healthy." It's like it's a better than conversation, and that comes up a lot when we're talking about diet, health, and this kind of subject matter. What I would say is the easiest to make would be oat milk. Now, that's a debate of like if you want to be consuming starch and this particular type of grain. Like, I mean, if that's what you're into, then great. But that's the easiest for sure because you don't even need to soak it. But you can get um, you can do this in a little bit more of a detailed way if you wanted to pre-ferment and that jazz. Now, if you're going to do a nut milk, which I don't even like using the word milk, but if you're going to be doing some sort of nut milk, it's best to use sprouted nuts. So, like, if you have sprouted almonds, sprouted macadamia, sprouted anything, sprouted is best. Pre-fermented, go with that. And you could always like do a mixture if like, because for instance, and this isn't out of judgment, I'm just speaking, from my awareness, like sprouted almonds are so much more money than regular. I mean, even raw almonds are expensive. So like when you get into like the sprouted stuff, unless you learn how to do it on your own, which I would tell everyone to, yeah, then it could be a little bit more expensive. So if you wanted to save time, but also you have access to high quality ingredients at like a farmer's market or your local grocery store or whatever, ordering online, you could always do like a 50-50, like sprouted almond and oat. Play around with it like that. But the healthiest, that's always going to be up to debate. And it's almost like Lola Blondo, like, don't take this as a judgment, but it's like it's almost unimportant to ask that question because that is so subjective and there's going to be a million opinions on it. And for me, it's more about preparation. It's about the preparation method because there's a way to make any grain, nut, seed, etc., more digestible. And that's really what matters here is how bioavailable and how digestible and how it interacts with your particular gut microbiota. All right. I hope that helps because we get a lot of these questions over time. And those three things that I just mentioned are kind of like thrown under the rug because people want a short and sweet answer. But that's not the way health works. So, again, I gave you some good ideas, some good tips here to try out, but nothing will be able to overshadow your particular gut microbiome. And yeah, get to Dan, I was asked this question like a couple of over the years, over the years, let me just say. And to be completely honest, I have no idea who Dolores Cannon is. I've seen little like snippets of videos and stuff sent to me, like a 10-15 second clip, but I don't actually know what their work is. Cami, I appreciate your super chat, but I'm not getting any questions or anything. So let me see if I find. Okay. Okay, so Cami, I appreciate your super chat. Sending you lots of love. You said, why has the cult of medicine infiltrated so deeply into our psyche regarding birth? Babies are born into medical management. Women are convinced they need to be managed, drugged, and paralyzed to birth. Yep, you're right. So you're clearly in the know about this. But I'll tell you, Cami, and this is kind of taking it a little bit deeper, but I believe will be helpful. All right. It's because Hermes or Mercury is the ruler of humans, of man. All right. So Mercury is the ruler within the dome. And I bring this up because you've all seen the symbolism in the medical field in hospitals of this caduceus. So this is the symbol of Hermes, but it's even deeper than that. Really, it's the spinal column where you could call it the Kundalini. I don't really like to call it that, but this Ida and Pingala that snakes around it to the pineal gland, into the glandular system, the thalamus, as big call it this, power plant access point to heaven, to the higher realms. So there's so many lanes that I could drive down in regards to answering this question, but when it comes to this, it's all about Hermes Mercury symbolism, and that is the ruler of man. He is, or it, I should say, because it's hermaphroditic, it is the messenger of the gods. So it is working with the gods on our behalf. This is why we see eagle symbolism on all of the financial stuff and all the things that come back to law most of the time. But we see the eagle on the Securities and Exchange Commission. You see it on the Federal Reserve System. You see it on the back of the dollar bill. This eagle has been utilized for the past couple centuries heavily because that eagle is Hermes, it's Mercury. You often see Jupiter, Jove, or Zeus. You see this deity with an eagle next to it. That is Hermes. And you typically see the eagle wrapping its neck and biting the staff of Jupiter. This staff, and again, wrapping the neck around and biting it, this is a symbol of, again, the caduceus. So lots of ways for me to take this, but the woman is the womb man. Womb in French is matrice. So matrice is matrix. It's where we get that word matrix from, the simulacrum. It's the womb. All right. And the woman or the womb man is now bringing you from spirit into time. So it's from the womb to the tomb. When you get here, your wings, or this angelic sense of you, this divine sense of you, your wings are clipped. Now you are with time, and you are now with walking with the Grim Reaper. This is called your timeline or your life cycle. This is why you see a lot of symbolism of Saturn or Kronos snipping the wings of baby Cupid. You are Cupid as a baby. You are pure. You are made of this essence, but the womb man is taking spirit into matter and delivering it. It's called deliver. She is taking life from from this spirit and giving it time, or giving it the opportunity to have something called death. That's why the symbol of Saturn is also the Grim Reaper or the skull and bones. You've seen this a lot with Yale, with these secret societies, lots of Saturn or Saturnian symbolism. It's all interwoven. I feel like we're going into like a full-blown masterclass on this kind of idea, but I believe it will answer some of these questions and perhaps tie all these things together and make sense of it all. Now, by making the process of giving birth to a child so fight or flight, like in this energy of fight or flight, and having you in worry and in fear, and removing a lot of the spiritual components from it all, a lot of like what we would call ritualistic components, which are not evil. Don't take the word spiritual, don't take the word ritual and make it evil so quickly, because that's not what it's about. But by taking away a lot of the ritualistic components of this birth ceremony, you make it so that the woman is now not giving birth to a baby, she's giving birth to a product. And this is where you get given your birth certificate and your social security number, your tax identification code. You're being basically numbered and branded and sold off to the global stock market through the Vatican. So that's a bigger part of the process. It's about making you product. All right. And I feel like I answer this. Now, where does Hermes fit into this? Where does Mercury fit into this? You're like, Waters, you're saying all these different. Well, Hermes or Mercury is the god of finance or commerce, merchandise. That's where we get Mercury, merchandise, commerce. All right. So, all things having to do with product deal with Hermes, Mercury. I'm saying both, by the way, just to give you the Greco Roman. So, if people are unaware, you kind of can go do your research onward if you'd like. So, as I said, Hermes Mercury is the ruler of man, the ruler of this physical experience we call life or called being a human. All right. Mercury is our Lord. Period. End of story. Everyone could be like, but I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. I believe in. Doesn't matter what you believe in because the people that made this system that you were brought into don't believe in that. They gave you that shit so that you're distracted from the knowing or the remembering of the shit that I'm talking about right now. And that's why you could be the most perfect Christian on earth, but if you want to go to a hospital or you want to be a part of, part of this game in any capacity, you will be pushed through the symbolism of it all, the symbolic ritual of it all. It's just the way it goes. I'm not trying to break anyone's hearts here. I'm just revealing to you something that 99% of all of us have been pushed through. It doesn't mean that it's taking anything away from you, by the way, because as spirit, you are granted the opportunity to remember. It's just the body that has this kind of trauma. The body has this lower frequency bandwidth that it gets trapped in sometimes. That's why a lot of people think that this is called a prison planet, but it's not. And by the way, Hermes or Mercury, even though it is the god of man, it's not a bad guy. It's not even a person. It's not like the devil. It's an archetypal, esoteric quality that you start to tap more into. And if anyone's like been hanging around, these live streams for the past couple of years, you've heard me say many times, Hermes is your homeboy. Like you want to make friends with the Lord of Man because once you tap into that, everything starts taking off. It's when you hide away from that and you push yourself away from the game that it starts to fuck with you. So it doesn't mean that you want to take on the parasitic and the destructive and awful parts of this game. It's that learn how to play the game so the game doesn't play you. Like any woman could go out of her way to go study more into the system and then avoid giving birth at a fucking hospital. You can do it on your own terms. That's called gnosis, knowledge, awareness. The same thing with taxes. You don't like taxes? Go fucking study the tax code. So, yeah, Cami, it's no different than anything else. We're all being convinced, managed, and kind of moved like cattle into the slaughter. And it's about the awakening process, realization, seeing that, oh, these things that surround me aren't necessarily evil or good. They just are. And I need to learn how to work with that energy in whatever way so that I could learn how to manage it instead of I'm the one being managed. Hopefully that resonates with you. Money Paradise says, I appreciate you. You inspire me to be vulnerable in my video. That's beautiful. Keep making art. We love it. Yeah, buck 52,000. I want you to try finding and charting out in like a spreadsheet, like an Excel file, all of the 97 patents that were claimed to be official. Go ahead and maybe if you want to research, that would be the best place to research. Somebody RM said still selling courses, shaking my head. What do you sell? Do you have a job? Do you want me to be your coworker? Should I come work with you? What do we do together? Do we drive Uber? What's this question? Is this nothing wrong with Uber, by the way? But I bet you if the Uber driver knew about my creative essence, they'd be the one asking me questions instead of making statements like you selling something. Aren't we all? Don't you show up to work? Probably do. Guess what? When you show up to work, you know what you're doing? You're making somebody 10 times more money than you make. Congratulations. You're in the comments section of a fucking live stream. Talk about shake my head. You are a walking emoji. Yo, don't fuck with me, man. I'm the worst, dude. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I would love to be a comedian someday and have to deal with hecklers. Serious question asked, do you use a toothbrush or just oil pull? Both. But just be, kind of come up with a method that works best for you. And the reason I say this is because everyone has different levels of dental health. So some people that have like really bad gingivitis, lots of bleeding when they brush, also consider getting a higher quality toothbrush. So that's a great starting point. And for toothpaste, I've been using this like Ayurvedic tooth powder. It has some charcoal in it, clove, a couple of different like ashwagandha. It has a bunch of different herbs and barks. It's great. Super inexpensive, easy to travel with. But yeah, I just have a bamboo toothbrush. I have this Ayurvedic kind of like tooth powder instead of toothpaste. And then I do oil pull, not frequently, but when I needed to, when I started learning about it, because like all things, you tend to learn about something when you have a problem. So I was, kind of like anti-dentist for a while, but then I learned like, okay, I have to have some sort of strategy for teeth health, and we're not taught this in school. So I would recommend, if I had to give a recommendation, if you're somebody who wants to heal the gums and heal, just have better dental hygiene, consider a dry brush first. So like just no, like just wet the toothbrush a little bit, bamboo toothbrush, give a dry brush to get any like stuff off the teeth, any plaque, etc. And then do the oil pulling for 4 to 5 minutes. Don't go longer. Don't go 10, 15 minutes. This is too long. You're basically recycling toxins back in the mouth by going really long periods of time. And my preferred oil would be a sesame oil that is cold pressed. So cold pressed sesame oil. Do that for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then after that, you would do the brushing again, just quickly with the charcoal or the Ayurvedic kind of like tooth powder. Plenty of companies make really awesome stuff where they're pretty transparent about the ingredients and the quality of the ingredients. And I would go with those companies. Just looking through some of the chat. We got about 400 with us. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Nat Zay, sending you lots of love. I hope you're doing well. You said Archaics did a great breakdown about Howard interview yesterday. That's interesting. I wonder what his take was. Archaics is a lot more into, I think, a lot of the stuff that was being covered in this Terrence Howard Joe Rogan podcast. So it'd be fascinating to know some of his take on it, but I just don't have the time to be, diving too deep and into the rabbit hole regarding this. I'm in the process of making this crypto decoding blueprint. I got to stick to my creative, flow right now. I'm probably, believe it or not, in one of my most creative flow states that I've ever been, which it's not a flex. It's like I'm really stoked about because I've been doing this now for some time and I'm still able to tap into that flow. And it's inspiring me in ways of like, how am I able to get there? And then what could I share to you know, be vulnerable about the process so that the process for you guys could be, similar. The Freed M Culture said it's just hard to prove that Illuminati cherry picks aspiring actors. Okay, well, if you wanted to become somebody that's in the music industry, I've heard in several occasions, especially when it comes to hip hop artists and pop artists, R&B singers, people that are into like electronic music as well. They part of the process of becoming a signed artist is they offer you access to a party. Well, actually, I'll tell you step by step. I'll tell you step by fucking step. So they bring you into a setting where like you'll do a photo shoot or you'll do something where you need to get in connection with a stylist or somebody who's gonna like do your hair, do maybe some makeup, or if you're a man, maybe something with the beard or hair or outfits, just like giving you a stylist, okay? In that process, they usually kind of test the waters with you to see how freaky you are, like what you're into. And the whole agenda here is a homosexual agenda. Not I'm not homophobic. I have nothing against people who are homosexuals. You do what you want to do in your own bed. I'm just letting you know the fucking facts here. All right. Now, then after this, after they test the waters with you, they invite you to a party. And if you're a man, one of the things they do at these first parties to kind of get you to touch elbows with some of the people that will eventually be signing you and eventually be giving you the golden ticket is they grab your junk. They literally grab your genitals as part of the entrance into this party. And if you're down with that, then they're like, okay, you go on to step number 3. You're trying to tell me that it's hard to prove that the Illuminati cherry picks actors? Come on, dude. They literally need to act. They're called actors. Like, what are we saying? It's like okay, let me back it up. Let me back it up because I love y'all for real. For real. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It's like making me emotional to even think about. You know why we say like this kind of stuff is because we want so badly for people to be like righteous. It's that you want people to be good like you. You feel the divinity in you, so you like want to like radiate that, and you think that everything like it's this like, but you're like fucking Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. Like everyone needs to rewatch Wizard of Oz. You're all Dorothy, including myself, by the way, including myself. I want people to be good. I want this whole thing to be good somehow. I wake up all the time and I hear some fucking awful shit and I'm like, I wish it wasn't that way. I hear about like 1 trillion animals getting fucking slaughtered so that we could eat food and I'm like, I still try to see the good in humans. Like whatever it takes. I'm like, I want it to be good because I love this. I think we're awesome. I have no problem with humans actually. I feel like I'm an instrument to tap into humanity. I'm not opposed to them. I really do. I feel like my purpose on this planet is to tap into the soul of man. Truly, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is why I don't want to have any of this like division between us all. I've said it so many times. Go check out the last podcast I did with Logan. Decode Your Reality. It was an awesome time talking with him. Always a great time communicating with him, but I made it I was very direct the whole time I was chatting with him that I don't want any of this division, whether it's between the so-called truther community, whether it's between people because of religion or because of dietary choice or because of what you think is the proper exercise protocol or the proper way to decode none of that. The sports you like or don't like, the entertainment you like or don't. I don't want it to be about that anymore. But at the same time, I'm like watching on in front of my own eyes so many solid people disregard the awful, disgusting, vile nature of a particular person and then only promote them as something righteous because of how smart they are. And I'm like, you don't get it, dude. You don't you don't get it, and you don't wanna get it because you are a good person, you want everyone to be pure like you. You are Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and you're walking around with Toto, which is your higher self, and Toto's doing putting in the work and you're not, because 'cause you're not seeing clearly. It's time to, like, fucking wipe off the dirt smudges from your pineal gland and just be like, "Okay, if I'm seeing that one individual has a lot of smart shit to say, but I'm also aware that they're a serial wife beater over the course of a decade, how can I work with these two energies and walk away from it like with a good feeling? How? How? And we want so badly for there to be this like, I'm able to see the better in it all, and that's fine. Just stop worshiping it, and that's really where we're going. It's two things, two key points. Stop worshiping it, and number two, stop calling it genius. Can we move on? Can we fucking move on from that? You know what's a genius? Like a turtle sitting on the side of like a tree inside of a pond. That's a fucking genius. Anytime we use the word genius and human, I'm almost like appalled because I'm looking at us and thinking to myself that the people who usually get coined genius are scientists or people that are in their purpose is scientism. And I'm like, didn't you realize that scientism was the thing that destroyed our fucking planet? Made us kill each other at war, made us divide each other, divide borders, do all this weird shit that we do today? That was science that did that, not religion. You think religion did that? Wake up. Sorcerers, wizards, covens, that's what runs this world, not a fucking Freemason lodge. Wake up. How spicy do we want to get? You tell me. You want like ghost chili? Where are we going? I'll say it again. Wizards, warlocks, covens, that's the shit that runs this world, not a Freemason lodge. The guy who's pulling the strings on Terrence Howard's career is the guy that's running this show, not Terrence, not any of that stuff. It's optics. It's optics. Young Woo, you said, "Hi, Waters. My 11-year-old has sweaty palms and feet. I've had her drink distilled water, eat fruit, not drink soda. Is there anything else she can do?" Well, there's so many things going on here, but it probably is something coming back to thyroid. So I would maybe check into some of that. Iodine is really helpful in this situation. So consider dulse or nori included in the protocol. I actually talked about this last week. You can get dulse. It's very affordable. Go get the highest quality source you can get. I would avoid using iodine liquid for now. I would just go with the whole food form first. So yeah, go ahead, get some dulse, get some nori, not seaweed snacks. Okay, not seaweed snacks. I want you to get real high quality nori, not seaweed snacks, because these are typically coated in low quality like seed oils. So yeah, the dulse is even better. Getting hydrated is one thing, but yeah, the thyroid thing is usually pretty eased off with some nori or some. Also maybe a 1 to 2 Brazil nuts every day or every other day. I don't know how small she is. Like you wouldn't want to exceed 3 Brazil nuts a day, even if you were like 200 pounds. So I would maybe go with her since she's 11, maybe like 1 Brazil nut every other day. But definitely you need selenium. Radio Ear says, "I wonder what nefarious things Timothy Chalamet did." Well, really, probably about more his parents, because I would assume he's trans, not because am going into the deep dive on his skeleton structure and his jaw, like his facial none of that. It's just like it's pretty obvious that he's a very feminine body type. So most likely a hermaphrodite that has been gonads dropped. They decided to go with male. The male voice kicked in, and then they just went with it, and then put him through the ringer of Hollywood. Brooklyn in the house, Park Slope in the house. Much love. I still have no idea who Eric Dubé is, but I do believe that it's a kind of predominant name in the flat earth conversation. I've seen it brought up many times in our Discord, but I haven't taken any time to look into it. Shout out to Tucson. Shout out to the Sonoran Desert. Ooh, lead into gold. I love how your picture is Bobby Fischer and you're asking me advice on how to approach a girl. I'm obsessed with her. Well, first things first, and I love questions like this. I think this stuff's awesome. I rather talk about like what we're all experiencing in life and being vulnerable. I think it's awesome that you feel comfortable asking these questions, and I don't feel any shame or guilt or anything like answering them. I love it. So, first of all, you're gonna need to turn off that thing called obsession because women can feel that. All right. Another thing you're probably gonna have to do is start working on yourself. Because when you're obsessed with a person that you're not even in communication with, like you're not dating, obviously, because you're asking me how to approach her, then this is a sign. And like, please, please, please listen from your heart right now. Cause I know some of the shit that I'm telling you is probably like heartbreaking, but it's not. This is like the game I'm giving you right here. I'm giving you the fucking game. All right. Turn off this obsession thing and start putting all the prana that you once gave to her, put that into you. All the energy that you once gave to her, put that into you. Because once you start embodying your excellence, that is the most attractive thing to the female. And then you're not even going to be asking the question on how to approach her. But the problem right here and right now is that you're nervous. And humanity has been programmed by Zionism to be nervous. 99% of humans are like walking around with their head on a swivel like a fucking squirrel, wondering like what's going to happen now? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen if I do this? What's the right? We're like looking around for an acorn, worried, like sweaty palms, all right? You're nervous. When you're in a state of nervousness, it's impossible for you to embody your excellence. So just put all that energy that you're putting into her, into you, and that will be radiant. You will now radiate. And that's really what you want. But the you being obsessed with her thing is going to come off instantly in regards to you connecting with her. It's going to come off as like an opposing force. Like she's not going to feel like you're trying to catch her. She's going to feel like you're just easy. And there's a mechanism here at play in the starting phase. I'm not trying to say be like a cool guy, right? That's not my point here. I'm trying to tell you to focus on yourself. Because when you're returning back to the beginning, when you're obsessed with somebody that you're not even in communication with, that you're not even dating, the odds are that you're not focused on you. You're putting too much energy into something else, and it's no longer you serving your purpose. All you're doing is just feeding her free prana gratis, free of charge. She's getting tips all day. And I know it's tough to hear, but I think you need to think about this. Because once you start embodying your excellence and you become, when you're walking in your purpose, you're not obsessed about anyone unless they're literally with you, your partner or your people, like the people that you're tangibly working with or working with, working through. But if the book hasn't even started, if we're not even in the intro yet, why are we thinking of why are we getting worried? And I think that's where this question stems from, the advice on how to approach somebody. But once you've kind of like tapped back into it all, what I'm saying here, then it'll all just flow. Don't row the boat, sail the boat. Meditate on that for a little bit. Okay, so led into gold is a wolf in our Discord. Appreciate you. Sending lots of love. Bessie Co says, wait, the earth isn't flat? So, Bessie, it's not about that. It's not about it. It's like an unimportant discussion. We need not waste energy anymore on the shape of the earth because we have a whole fucking solar system inside of all of us that we're neglecting because we're wasting energy on what's outside of us. There's something within, and we're avoiding that. In the New World Order, the apex predator, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they want you to always externalize belief and externalize your energy and externalize your opinions and externalize all this stuff so that you're never embodied, you're never within. A lot of the stuff that I said earlier today, like even about this Terrence Howard character, all I was trying to get people to realize was like instead of just hearing some smart individual talk and you instantaneously become enamored by them, maybe take a moment to just like deep breath, check in with your intuition and ask yourself, like, okay, where am I at with all of this? Where am I at with all of this? Am I playing the game or is the game playing me? Led into gold, sharing some of these experiences. So, said you're a confident guy, make friends with a guy, but I don't know, approach this girl. It's kind of hard for me to do. It's probably because she's intimidating you because you're worried about rejection. And once you start to think about being rejected, you no longer want to risk anymore, and all of that like chemical, all of the chemical reactions that are within you that'd be willing to attempt to risk are being deactivated. So that's kind of coming back to what I was saying before. Kane, I know. It's really about me receiving millions of fucking questions about the same subject matter and just deciding, like, let's bury it deep. It's a one and done. We rip the band aid off and then we never have to react. Like, I mean, you feel me? It's not about giving too much prana. Like, you have to be aware of the position that I'm in. Like, I had the opportunity today to say some shit that's, like, really gonna touch people at the core of their soul, and it's gonna make people think again about what they're perceiving. But ultimately, I hope the most important piece of the whole message is to go within and to stop getting so quickly, absorbed into somebody else's purpose. Joe Joe Potter. Hey, girl, you like peaches? I love it. Pass the coffee. Like, I gotta be honest, it's really, like, it's beyond protecting women, it's protecting yeah, like, I'm just I just really feel for like for all. And I think if a man is gifted as much as a woman is gifted, but if a man is gifted with the avatar of a man's body and then abuses the avatar of a woman's body, it's like that's your last day as a man. That's it. It's a wrap. I don't care what happened. I don't care what the like unless she's literally like physically abusing you first and then you have to protect yourself by guarding or defend in some capacity. But slapping a woman in the face in public in front of her own children or punching her twice and giving her a black eye and then admitting to it so the whole world knows for a fact that you did it, it's just like it's fucked up, man. And I know maybe there's a side of me that like wants to protect women in this whole thing for whatever reason, but I'm trying to I'm even trying to figure out like why this bothers me so much. I'm just being super vulnerable with you guys, you know? Like I grew up in a household where my dad was a heroin addict. He went to jail many times during my upbringing. And that was when I heard Terrence Howard say something in the very beginning of this interview and it was like, "Damn, you know, me and this guy, like there's something going on here." I even think our fucking birthdays are close, you know? So I'm like, I'm feeling it out. I'm feeling it out. I'm feeling it out. And I'm like, yo, I see what's going on here. And I know what's going on. It's that he is so used to fucking making everyone so in awe by his acting, by his speaking, that the moment somebody goes against it and questions it, he doesn't know how to take it. He doesn't know how to manage that energy. And it just starts to decouple and it shows up as violence, most likely because that's the way that they were treated. I'm really trying to not make it all about women though. Like I do feel that I am maybe more sensitive because of my upbringing, because of needing to protect my mom and needing to look out for her and like all of that. Like I do admit that. I can't deny that. Maybe I am more sensitive towards protecting women. But at the same time, I'm like, why are we gifting this word genius to people off of a fucking interview they did on YouTube? There's I could go on all day, man. I could go on all day. I'm just gonna end it because I feel like I don't need to talk about it anymore. Anyone who listens to this will have enough points to get where I'm going. Moving on. Yeah, Harbinger X14. Thank you. I appreciate I appreciate you sending lots of love. Is it Albert Einstein equals married cousin twice? Worked at a patent office. Sick. What's my favorite Polyphia song? Oh, you know, it's been a while since I listened to them, and then they came out with this one song playing God, which was pretty cool because it was like a classical flamencos. It was like a classical guitar custom made by Ibanez and just an incredible guitar line. Like absolutely undeniably incredible to watch as a guitar player. So many techniques and so many interesting things. But I just kind of stopped listening to them a while ago because of like I don't really feel any emotion in this music anymore. It's just like flashy. It's like a Lamborghini, you know? Lamborghinis are beautiful, but like it's just kind of flexy. No offense. By the way, I don't know how to build cars. I'm not an engineer. I'm not shitting on Lamborghini. I'm just trying my best to give like an example. Like it's not about the quality or the flashiness of the car. It's how the car's driven. And there's a lot of flex going on in the Polyphia realm. Although I do really gotta say, some of the best musicians around from a technical perspective. From a feeling and emotional perspective, not even close. And that's what I value more. I value the emotion. But yeah, I'm not sure what my favorite Polyphia song would be. I think they had one that I remember hearing that was on like a very hip hop inspired demo. They like maybe like an EP. It has about 5 or 6 songs. Really sick guitar line. Super cool. I just don't remember. Don't remember the name. I don't listen to them enough. Tool, on the other hand, big fan. The Hexagon Contractor. I'm sending you lots of love. I appreciate you. What do I think about xylitol? Uh, it's a common like ingredient in these sugar-free processed foods. Although it is plant-based, I would not get too into pulling. Are you talking about like in a oil pulling scent? No, I wouldn't do that. But hey, I don't know, so I'm just gonna go ahead. You guys know me. If I don't know about something, I just say I don't know. But yeah, as for xylitol, for anyone who doesn't know, it's typically used as a sugar-free sugar substitute, and it's been paraded around as like great for us. But I don't believe that at all because I'm not anti-sugar. I think sugar cane has so much life force energy in it. Also, white sugar was created by the Chinese as an anti-venom, so it has an absolutely necessary purpose, and a lot of people don't bring that up. White sugar is not bad. But yeah, you have high fructose corn syrup, and you have all these processed foods that have been introduced to the world over the past, couple decades, and that's now overshadowing a lot of other stuff. So it makes the conversation a little tough. Michael, you said, I'm new here and I always wanted to ask you for advice to lazy people who can't get their shit together. What I would start doing is stop thinking that I'm lazy and start reminding myself that I'm just distracted. So it's not that you're lazy, it's that you're distracted. And actually, by thinking that you need to get your shit together will actually probably prevent you from wanting to take charge, like take action. You only want to take action or quote unquote get your shit together when it has purpose. All right. Now, the problem here is we've been programmed into thinking purpose is like, I need to become a YouTuber. I need to become a motorcyclist. I need to become a footballer. I need to become a gambler at the casino. It's like, you don't need to become anything. You already are you. You're the fucking universe expressed as this avatar. So this is where we bring the spiritual component into it. Now, the universe is comprised of all things, of everything. You are everything. Don't let anyone fucking tell you otherwise. You're just distracted. You forgot what I just said. I didn't teach you this. You just forgot. You forgot that you're not lazy. You forgot that you don't need to get your shit together. You forgot that you're the universe. You forgot that all of these little like tidbits of information that have always been within you, they've always been coded into you, but you've just been part of a system that has been systematically programming you in the direction of identity consciousness. Calling people lazy, saying that they don't have their shit together and they do. You know how many people that look like they got their shit together are fucking destroyed on the inside? Like so many people that are even millionaires that have so much financial opportunity, but they're dead inside. They hate life, they're depressed, they have alcohol problems, they're cheating on their wives, whatever. This is why I challenge these things, and this is why when I answer these questions, I try to go from the heart and not from my mind with my responses. You're not lazy, you're just distracted. You have more energy than you could ever imagine. You're just not sure where to channel that energy because that energy is meeting a detour sign every time you go against life. So life has no purpose. The purpose is life. Every time that you're dead, in debt, every time that you are now not actionable, you're just kind of building more scar tissue. It's like scabbing, I know it sounds weird, but it just kind of becomes that. It's like I'll finish with this because this is a great question, and I think a couple of things that I answered will be helpful. But one moment, let me just make sure that I'm because I see there's something going on with my internet. One moment. Okay. So, one thing that I say often in this sort of situation is script your outcome, fall in love with the process. Now, the odds are you have this desire for an outcome, but you have no desire to be in process. So you are looking up to people or looking up to certain things, and that is now motivating or inspiring you in some capacity, but usually it never makes you actionable because you're never in the process. And I've been warning people about AI and this particular, technological advancement, if you will, and how AI is very dangerous because artificial intelligence and the way that we've been using it in the past couple of years is removing outcome 100% and it's leaving you solely in process. And if you keep perpetuating that over and over and over again with zero process in your life, you're going to feel useless. You're going to feel purposeless. And I think that is one big, I know it's an agenda, right? But it is very much of the times. It's of the times. Be careful with that stuff. Lola Blondo, consider soaking. Could help. Sully Sue says, unless you felt that pain of birth, man, listen, I'm not for medications for everything, but child's birth pain is something absolutely, Sully. I am by no means saying that I personally have given birth or know what a woman has to go through that process. I do not have a uterus. I don't have a vagina. Like, I get it. I'm by no means speaking on that. I hopefully answered the question earlier that I received from another woman in a way where I was touching on all the greater points and I wasn't tapping into this false role. I believe I did answer it very in my flow state without overstepping any boundaries, but absolutely, I could never ever say I know what that pain feels like. But I would also like with my knowing if my wife was pregnant and was about to give birth, I would make sure to prepare in a way where I don't have to go where she doesn't have to go through the epidural and all this other nonsense. It's called preparation. And a lot of the inflammation you feel is because you don't want to make good choices with your diet, which affects your gut microbiota, which affects your mental state, which affects your level of fear and all these other like it's so many it's holistic, okay? It's holistic. And a lot of the times we do things to numb pain and it's a one step forward, two steps back in the long term. So, anywho, hopefully this resonates. I got a super chat from Tarzanagram. I don't see any question. But if I get around to it, I will. Thomas Brown said, I'm kind of surprised that you've completely dismissed the flat earth. You have waters above in your namesake and speak of the firmament. That's not what it's about, Thomas. It's not about dismissing the flat earth. It's that this has been spoken about forever. It's boring, isn't it not? Like, haven't you like I remember watching a couple of like flat earth, globe earth debates, and I'm just like, this looks like the presidential fucking debate. This looks like Biden and Trump. It's not about me dismissing. You're 100% right. I decided to call my channel Waters Above because Genesis and that particular line of Genesis 7 talking about the firmament and the waters separated from the waters above and the waters below, this tapped in to me in a very spiritual way, but it's not that just those waters above are talking about the waters above this firmament dome of our realm. It's talking about the cerebral spinal fluid It's written in this is very deep, guys. That's more interesting to me. You wanna know why? Because I can actually do something about my cerebral spinal fluid. I could do something about the body that my soul hosts. I can't do fuck shit about the Earth size or if Venus is real or if the Polaris is a real North Star. It's fucking I can't do anything about it. So don't catch me with this I'm dismissing it thing. I'm aware, man. I'm just bored. It's time we move on. It's time we move on. Jeep Sahara? Yeah, well, that is it. You're talking about Mary, Mare, that's C. This is Mars. And you're bringing up this concept of the Holy Spirit being this feminine thing. Well, it's kind of in reverse. It would actually be that the masculine is the spiritual side of things, whilst the woman or the woman, or in this case Mary, which is of course taken out of context in this, it's all lies. It's all backwards, really. Think of everything in opposites, and you'll actually reveal more truth to yourself. But, anyways, so the masculine would be this more spiritual concept, and this feminine would be the more physical. She's the womb man. The womb is the matrix. I talked about this a little bit earlier. This is Gaia, Earth, physical realm. Simulacrum represented in this physical, tangible space. So, sun is the byproduct. So you have the masculine, feminine polarities. These polarities come together to make child. So the Holy Trinity would be Father, Mother, Child. Not son, but again, this word son is even taken out of context because it's the creation of, like in Genesis. Genesis is generative principle to create. Harbinger, I appreciate you. You said that's been my issue with Christianity. They believe we are born in sin. I believe we are born perfect and are corrupted by the world. Well, I'll break this down a little bit. First of all, I appreciate you, Harbinger, for the super chat. Really means a lot to me. You're talking about this idea of being born in sin, and where that comes from is Zionism. Zionism tells us all that we are born imperfect. It's not just Christians, brother. It's everyone. This is how they pulled the V thing on us. Here, I'll type it out because I can't say it. Right? This is how they did that to us. They got us to fall for this nonsense. All right. The way they do that is by telling you, by convincing mothers, convincing fathers that your child is broken and it must take this V in order to be protected from this so called impure world. I want you to think about what I'm saying right now because I think this is going to be like a fucking mind blowing moment for you, right? Because think about what you're saying. With your issues with Christianity, they believe we're born in sin. I believe we were born perfect and corrupted by the world. It's not that the world is what's corrupting you. It's that your fear of something in any capacity is allowing you to be broken down and allowing you to become rotten at a faster rate. You decay faster. When you have fear, you are decaying faster because fear is like the brake pedal on life. It's slowing down your momentum. So you have these two parents, these two polarities, mother, father, they have come together and created something. And you're just basically brainwashing them with this fear. And they must give their newborn perfect baby an inoculation because this world is broken, it's toxic, it has problems, it's impure, and you must be safe, right? They always say this. They're like, you better stay safe. Remember C19? They did that to us for 2 years. Stay safe. This damages the ego and it makes you uncertain of what's good or what's bad. You kind of get stripped of your personal take on life, especially from a health perspective. And then you throw in the Christianity thing. It's one of the tentacles of the octopus. Okay, so this is Zionism's scheme is the idea that you're born broken. Like all animals in the animal kingdom, all life doesn't have to rush its baby to the near, like the deer, the pregnant deer doesn't need to be rushed to the nearby deer hospital to have the doctorate in deer pregnancies show up with a lab coat and like a monocle and be like, "Are you ready? Huff, huff and puff, big breaths, deep. You ready? Right. The baby's coming." No. Like literally the mother deer just squats next to a river and the thing pops out, and then like within a couple of minutes it's like being pushed up to start walking because it needs to walk soon before some other predator comes by and eats it. Like humans are like alien to this world in many ways, but that's another conversation. So it's really not your issue with Christianity, it's just your issue with Zionism. You're calling it Christianity though, but like really it's not that. Because Zionism is corrupted through corrupting the Jesuits. Well, the Jesuits are literally walking, talking corruption. But I'm not going to blame it all on the Jesuits, and I'm also not talking about Jews when I say Zionism. That's not Zionists and Jews are, although they do ride the same tandem bicycle, they're not the same. You could be practicing Judaism from a very religious perspective, or be some sort of theologian or somebody who's interested in it from a scholarly position, but not be a Zionist. So be very clear here. But the world, and let me wrap this up by saying I feel similarly to you. I believe I believe everything is perfect. Everything is happening perfectly. It's just the way that it is coming into your reality tunnel might not feel so good initially if it's something we want to call bad or terrible or awful. But what we fail to realize is all of those things are teaching us. They are helping us grow. They're allowing us the opportunity to deal with chaos so that there is more order on the other side. For instance, if I gave you everything in the world, I made you a trillionaire and I just said, "Here you go. You have everything you want. Everything's perfect. You could buy your way into anything." I bet your ass would get bored real fucking quick. You actually like problems. You'll start to like problems when you don't have any more. It's funny, but it's the way that this goes. You notice, like, if even in a relationship, when you're in the honeymoon phase, you start looking for problems because you like the spice. That's why you guys like showing up to these live streams. Tarzanagram, I believe this was your follow, or this was your super chat. You're asking, what are my thoughts on the Statue of Liberty? Do you think it's Apollo? Okay. Here's the thing, Tarzanagram. They're all the same character, and it all comes back to Hermes. And we could call it Apollyon. We could call it Apollo. We could call it Medusa. We could call it Libertas. We could call it Ma'at. We can call it, I mean, damn, we could go forever on this. They all share the same fucking name. Britannica, Minerva, Mars, Ares. It's all playing this archetype of some sort of enforcer and symbol of authority and symbol of sovereignty and symbol of freedom, because all of those things create that effect. But when we're talking about particularly the Statue of Liberty, which was allegedly gifted to the United States of America in New York City, Ellis Island, by the French, we're thinking of Libertas. We're thinking of Justicia or Justicia. You wouldn't say the J's typically. And this is Apollyon. This is Apollo. But it's not that it is this is what I want to help. I hate saying help, but this is what I want to have you guys all realize. Stop this urge, and I'm not saying that you have this, Tarzanagram. I'm just in general somebody who's trying to get people to have more utility with this whole mythology thing and the whole, you know, concepts of truth that we're exploring. Don't think that it's really Apollo and it's not something else. Okay, that's what I want us to like stop doing. Because as in the truther community, they have this tendency where they're like, it's Apollyon, it's not Libertas, and it's like, shut up. They're all the same. Britannica is Minerva is this like it's all the same. The same, and I know this is mind blowing for some people, but Jupiter, Zeus, is Neptune, is Poseidon, is Pluto, is Hades. It's the same. They're of the same trinity. They are one. They're not separate. All need each other. Just like you need a digestive system, you need a sexual reproductive system, you need a like you need these things as part of the whole. We get corrupted by isolationism because we're too scientific. Scientism has and again, I know Tarzanagram is not alluding to any of these things, but I think this is why this question's coming up, and I hope that I'm offering a big clear pill with this response right now. Always think holistic. So Medusa, this thing that turns you to stone when you look at it, it is Apollo. Look at that fucking sun and let's see how long you could stare at it for. Which also is ether. And I have a big decode coming out on this as well when I do the crypto decoding blueprint, because it's going to be decoding each of these top crypto coins that we tend to talk about on the world stage, tying it back to the mythology, tying it back to these deities. But yeah, Statue of Liberty is, sure, it's Apollo. And a lot of people, they like, I've seen a lot of content come out over the years where they're like, Apollyon the Destroyer is the devil or the bad guy. It's like, no, it is not. It is enlightenment. Stop making everything about good and bad. This is our opportunity to really wake up here. Apollyon the Destroyer is not bad, and destruction isn't bad because destruction is a form of creation. You have skin cells that are just leaving your body all the time. You scratch your fucking arm and skin cells fly away. You comb your hair and hair's falling out. New hair comes back. You walk barefoot outside for a while, you start getting callous feet, dry skin, like the body is just responding to whatever stimuli, whatever it gets dealt with. You have liver cells that are being anew. You have eye cells that are anew. You have every cell, everything. It's generating, it's destroying. It's generating, it's destroying. It's generating, it's destroying. Okay. I'm so like sick of the people that are like Apollyon the Destroyer, bad guy, Satan, the devil. It's like, wake the fuck up, man. Devil is lived backwards. Just like I talked about before, when a woman delivers a baby, she is delivering. She is removing the life. It's not the giver of life. That's tough, right? And nobody who's listened to this live stream today can be like, Waters is against women or Waters. No, then you're missing the whole point of today's live stream. I'm really here for the truth, and I'm not going to disregard the etymology and the spells we speak. It's important. The unleavened Baptist. I love this name. Well, the sun is our feet. It is our. There's two suns. There's the soul on the bottom of the foot, which connects to the soul below, and then there's the thalamus connecting to Polaris, the soul above. This sun thing that you call the sun is an it's not the sun. Oh my god. You know, let me show you guys just for quick recap purposes here. Where did I? It was like right after the eclipse. Okay, everyone, if you're watching this right now, this was from April 9th. This was the day after the total solar eclipse called the Great American Eclipse. Big deal, right? Big deal. And I shared it was not the moon that blocked the sun. Too many were distracted by the ring of fire. And that triggered a lot of people too, because they want to think that these eclipses are like what we're told by the apex predator and There's so much video foot like, even if we wanna go the route of being like, "Prove it," there's hundreds of videos available showing you that the moon was not the thing covering the sun because the moon was to the left or to the it was on the side. It was not the moon that was eclipsing, but, then people wanna know, "Well, what the fuck was that?" And that's really what that's what becomes fun about it. That's what becomes fun. So, I saw this one, somebody sent this to me in the community, and it's this, commentary over a video. I don't know if it's all stitched together, or if it's a legit like, this person who's making this commentary, who's recording themselves talking, is actually the one who made the video. I have no idea. Can't prove it. So it's just interesting. But they said that they were like a whistleblower that worked for some agency. I don't know if it was CERN or something, but it was a pretty fascinating video. If anyone has it, share it. It was talking initially about the eclipse and how it wasn't the sun. Dustin said Terrence Howard made the patent for wife beating. Damn, bro. You're that's spicy, bro. Crush Bandicoot. Awesome name, by the way. Awesome name. You said, I can't stand assholes who act like everything should be. I mean, it's typically just people that are all, like on the come up. Like, I'm going to compassionate the whole thing and be very honest with everyone. It's usually just people that are on the come up. Like, they have a job or they're working in gig work and they like wish that they could be where someone else is at. So it's natural to project and to talk negatively about someone else who's been able to accomplish something that they haven't yet. And I think that those people need to be put in their place, not name called, not disrespected. Don't ever call them poor. Don't ever call them broke. That's silly. I mean, I remember this one video I saw. Somebody sent it to me of Michael Saylor, this like Bitcoin shill who was really popular a couple years ago. Maybe he still is. I don't know. But the MicroStrategy guy, you know him. You could tell how much I'm not a Bitcoin maxi by my introduction of Michael Saylor. But needless to say, Michael Saylor in a fucking interview like called people poor for what some interesting reason tied. So yeah, don't behave like that. That's boy energy. But the people that are like, especially those who are talking towards the truth community and being like the truth should be free, it's like, do you what do you mean? Like, so truth should be free, but lies should cost money? I bet you the same person has a fucking Spotify account. They have a Netflix account. They're paying for HBO Max. It's like, okay, so the truth should be free, but then you're gonna pay serial pedophiles who are running the whole world. You pay them. You give the money to the liars. You see how you see how that doesn't add up. See how it doesn't make, but it's like the people that are going through that and projecting that way, they don't know they don't even know how they're behaving. They don't know how they're acting. And that's why when they hear somebody talking about creating a work of art and deciding to share it with the world and present it in the highest quality and the most vulnerable and like the best possible effort that they possibly can, that they will reply back saying, "Are you selling a course?" It's like you missed the mark, brother. You missed the mark. But you don't even need to explain that to those people, right? Jeff bet Morgan Spurlock ritualized? No, he just ate a bunch of dog shit food and he died from it. Like, that's what happens when you eat a bunch of processed garbage all the time. It's pretty interesting, though. I believe that he did this Super Size Me movie when his girlfriend or wife at the time was vegan, which again, I'm not saying veganism is a healthy diet, although I do believe that humans are plant-based, and I don't want to even go down that road right now because it's 2 hours deep and I need to wrap this up soon. But yeah, like if you eat like that, like that's the consequences. Like you are what you eat, and if you eat death, you become death. Tarzanagram says Terrence Howard is Jesus. Amen. Amun Ra. Wow. Awareness. You said, nah, I had to get my phone out because talk to the ass, Brody. His trading course allowed me to quit my job. Wow. I'm really grateful for that opportunity to be a part of your journey. I don't take any credit for that though. Like I decided to create the art and you decided to invest in yourself by investing in my art. And if that's what it led to, then that's beautiful. And I really that means the world to me, truly. One with nature asks, "What's your favorite spot to go in Puerto Rico?" I've never been. I need to go. I need to go. I would love to. Oh, awareness. That really means a lot to me. I appreciate you. Armando, I believe the one that I like to use is made by Concentrace Minerals, which I've heard is from the Great Salt Lake in Utah. So go check them out. They're pretty awesome. Travis LC is asking about kidney filtration. It's really about preparing for a dry fast, and then typically it's the dry fast. That's really it. Like when you're never filtering lymph, and you could tell by the way when you wake up in the morning, if anyone wanted to test this out, and this is not weird, this is actually a very important and overlooked and almost not spoken about part of health. You just can pee in a jar, pee in some sort of like glass. And if you don't see that it's cloudy, like there's nothing, it should look like a snow globe has been shook. If there's nothing cloudy inside of it, this is both men and women, then your kidneys aren't effectively filtering, and you want them to. So typically, the only way to get this process moving for most, and when I say most, I'm talking about a majority, is through doing a dry fast. And I talk about this very deep in depth in the expansion group coaching, or sorry, the expansion mastermind course. Also, we talk about it a lot in expansion group coaching. One second, I'm just making sure that my internet's good. I'm seeing some weird. Okay, we're good. Jonah, yes. Do you fast from food? Yes. I believe everyone should be fasting. Strategically, not all the time. Ian Ludlow says, "LOL, sup people. Happen to be checking in right now and can confirm I have been approached by the." Well, Ian, feel free to share your experience. I believe I shared to my best knowledge what I've heard many sources tell me, and that's just been the story. I've heard musicians, models, actors, they all get kind of put through a similar protocol for access to the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's correct. All right, we're gonna be wrapping. Oh, Big Toby says, "Aren't the Freemasons sorcerers though? Not at all." I used to call it like Playpen University. Like, do you know how many Freemasons have booked me for calls to ask me where I got the information that I'm sharing with you guys for free on YouTube? That's not a lie. That's not a lie. They aren't teaching you shit there. All right. If you want knowledge, you must seek it thyself. If you want awareness and knowing, you have to seek it. It's not going to show up to you in a club. Now, of course, in their facilities that you enter, they do have books. I'm sure they have a lot of material that you could read into, but it's all gate kept by the levels and also eventually gate kept by your family or your bloodline that you're in. So they will never allow you access to these higher levels unless you are part of it by bloodline, right? So if you're just some random fuck off the streets and you're like, I want to be a part of, I want to free me. First of all, they don't even allow you in. You need to be, somebody needs to come to you and, what's the term called? It's the same thing they do in like fraternities and sororities. You need to be like recommended by somebody else. But that's besides the point. Yes. Now, part of answering your question is there some high level Freemasons that are sorcerers, wizards, witches, part of covens, etc. Obviously, Freemasons are men, but there's Eastern Star, which is females. You guys get the point. But to answer the question, yes, some, but it's not like a prerequisite. Like you can have an absolute numbskull be inside of the Freemason lodge. Timmy from the coach of the local baseball team is a Freemason. Jonah says Jesus is Zeus, bro, and the Holy Ghost is Sophia, the goddess of wisdom. Christian religion is a fraud. Well, Christian religion is the religion is written in parable, and it's not about necessarily that this Jesus character is this Zeus character, but you are onto something. I can't deny that you are onto something. Yeah, it's Jesus, right? And even in scripture, they say that Jesus is of the order of the Melchizedek, and that Melchizedek, when you break that down, the etymology going back to Hebrew, it legitimately stands for my king is Tzedek, and Tzedek is Jupiter. So yes, but I want to be very direct here and go into the mythology for just a second, and then we'll work out of this. But it's like there's nothing Jupiter or Zeus like in the mythology, which came way before this Jesus character. There's nothing like that is shown in the story of Jesus. So, Jonah, yes, you're kind of like on it, but I wouldn't call it that per se. It's that Jesus is Julius Caesar. That is literally what they're trying to do. And the guy you know of that looks like Jesus is the portrait of the son of a pope. It's Caesar Borgia. That's the image you get of this Christ guy. And before you had Caesar Borgia, you just had baby Jesus. And baby Jesus is Eros or Cupid. The baby. You guys know Valentine's Day, right? So this is Valentine. But anywho, yeah, this Jesus Zeus connection is very spot on in a lot of ways. But I think what most people associate with the Jesus character being is actually just a spin-off of the infiltration of the Holy Roman Empire over all these important scripture, like these pieces of esoteric wisdom. Okay, like which I give lots of credit to, because if you are somebody who knows how to read, truly read, I'm not talking about definitions of words, but you actually know the meanings of words. Well, then you're leveled up, and when you read like the book of Genesis, you'll be in tears because you really see what they're talking about in there. They're not talking about anything outside of you. The book of Genesis is a book revealing to you what you are, not how the world was made. It was how your world was made. Never forget I ever told you that. But the Jesus and Zeus connection is great. But let's not forget our good old Holy Roman Empire and the parasite they left on this earth, which is still ruling earth to this day. It's just called Zionism now. Sarah Lynn, I appreciate this very generous super chat. We'll be wrapping up shortly after this, so I appreciate you Supporting thy art. You said appreciate you. Any advice on how to balance the feminine masculine dynamic within a relationship? I feel I've taken on a masculine role and I'm burnt out and also feeling resentment towards him. Well, that's natural. And the reason you're feeling like you have to take on the masculine role is because you don't feel safe, you don't feel secure. And in that level of fear that you have, it's like permeating you to make choices and decisions that balance you out into the opposing polarity. In reality, what it should be is that this partner is allowing you to feel that you could embody your feminine essence. Therefore, you wouldn't have this resentment thing going on. You would actually feel happy or positive feelings towards it, which again, I'm not trying to make it about duality, but you're asking a question based on duality, so I have to use that language. But it all comes back to you, Sarah, and that's like the clear pill here is like a lot of women or men, when we hear what I just said moments ago, it's like another way of saying either get a better partner or it's like you can't change someone else, Sarah. You could only change you. And you want to know if you want somebody to be better that's closer to you, that requires you being more vulnerable. Okay? It's all still coming back to you anyways. So what are you willing to do? I know that you say you feel burnt out, but it's not that is it that? It's that you're worried about putting this into the light. You're probably worried about having this tough conversation. You're worried I mean, I'm just assuming here. I'm not trying to get in between you and your experience, but you're asking the question and I feel I'm open-minded enough now and have had enough experiences to think about where would I be at in this situation. And it comes back to most people want to be agreeable. And by agreeable, I mean we don't want to have the tough conversation. We don't want to bring it to light. Okay? You know how everyone hates this word Lucifer? We think it's a bad thing. I'm sure people are showing up right now. They're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Lucifer is the light bringer. Okay? A Lucifer is not a demon. It's not an evil spirit. A Lucifer is a bearer of light. So earlier, I believe it was Tarzanagram asked a question about Apollyon, and the Statue of Liberty symbol. That is literally Lucifer. That is the light bringer. The bringer, it literally holds a torch. During the Olympic ceremony, they hold a torch. This is a symbol, okay? It's also whenever you see third eye symbolism, it's all just the fire, the flame. It's the torch. So here's the thing, you need to bring it to light. You need to have the tough conversation. You need to avoid being agreeable, even though it might be uncomfortable. And you need to remind yourself that nobody wants to change and that it's in your best interest to be the change always. Instead of putting energy into resenting him, put energy back into yourself to see how that you can be more vulnerable and more open with how you truly feel rather than hiding behind something that might eventually become uncomfortable. And this isn't the easiest thing to share via microphone and not knowing who you are and just, I'm you get it. But what I want to avoid sometimes when we have these conversations is being like, your man is the wrong man and he's the problem and he's being feminine and you just like point fingers, right? Like we really want to avoid that here. And it's not just because I'm a man, like I will do it in both directions. It's important that we just stop wanting somebody to be something that they're maybe not. And then over time, if the chemistry is off, then that's when you decide maybe it's time to part ways. Maybe it's time to move on from this experiment. And that's the last thing I'll say. A lot of the times, we're not maintaining a relationship, we're maintaining an experiment, and it's time to relate. And that was what I was saying before about you being more vulnerable and you being less agreeable and being more just out of the shadow with it all. Bring it to light, all right? With courage. Bring it to light with courage. No fear. DJ Technique, I appreciate your super chat. I'm sending you lots of love, brother. You said that thumbnail picture made my whole last day. Needed that, brother. Much love. Yeah. Oh man, I'm a big fan of that spice, bro. That spice changed my life. Shout out to Goya. Shout out to Sazon. Shout out to Adobo. Shout out to Sofrito. Shout out to Arroz con Gandules. Shout out to Puerto Rico. Cole Tyrone, I appreciate you. Sending lots of love. True Root says, what if a woman is stabbing your ass? Then just put a dartboard on it and tell her good shot. Astro Magnus, can we touch on alcohol usage? Well, usage is... do you mean alcohol abuse? Abusing it, having a bad relationship with it, that's usually what most people are asking about. But alcohol is alcohol. It's like anything. Like you can consume too much pure water and die. So it's just about the relationship. And I think that's maybe just saying that, just talking about how we have a relationship with these substances, with these items, brings a lot to light, and we start to think about it differently. We think about it as if it is like we're dancing with. Stu Lovell, sending lots of love to you and your family. Harbinger, yeah, big fan of Tool for sure. Right in 2 is like one of those songs that I listen to maybe once every month. Also the song H. Oh my god, I love that. I have to pull that up really quick just for the moment. Really head out. I've been having so much fun with you guys. Talking shit for hours. This song H by Tool, everyone should listen to it. It's absolutely incredible. He says without the skin here. So he's talking about the body, without the body. Beneath the storm, under these tears, now the walls came down. Talking about this kind of like cloak of the ego, if you will. Once the snake is drowned, talking about this, the Eden, Pangala, the Caduceus, the Kundalini. As I look in his eyes, my fear begins to fade, recalling all of the times I could have cried then, I should have cried then, deciding to choose embracing the feeling and emotion over programs, right? Especially as a man, we deal with a lot of programs. And he says, as the walls came down and as I look in your eyes, my fear begins to fade, recalling all of the times that I have died and will die. It's all right. And then the song ends with, I'm too connected to you to slip away and fade away. Days away, I still feel you touching me, changing me, and considerately killing me. Fucking mind blowing. Those are bars right there. Shadow Wisdom, I appreciate you. Appreciate your super chat. You said, wanted to get your take on the Feds flipping the moon upside down. Stock market bullish into late May, dragon year, BS supporting job CPI data, and how navigate this behavior. You know, this is so great because doesn't this remind you? I mean, Shadow Wisdom, I'm not sure if you've studied the dot-com bubble or if you studied 2007 into 2008 with the subprime mortgage crisis, but damn, this reminds me of that environment where like all of the data that they're releasing is completely make believe, and the market speculates very heavy on it. Up. They speculate up. And it, of course, has a lot to do with an election year for sure. But there's this other side to it where it's like they're just letting the speculators ride the bull. And then once once there's the slightest bit of fragility in this uh, mega mansion that's resting on glass toothpicks will snap so quickly. And like this type of environment that I think a lot of people are happy about and bullish about because they're looking at the market go up, it's not backed by reality in terms of investment thesis and in terms of how to navigate it as you asked. So I think in general we still have a lot more time. Crazy to say such a thing, but we still have time for this market to continue up. And it's very similar to the 07-08 thing. And I would not even be shocked if in 2025, it's like, 2021, where if you don't remember, that was when we had 9/11. The only thing different was it was a Shemitah year. Hail Metallica said, I was making juice, so I paused the live. I restarted the live, so I'm behind where you're probably now. Just wanted to send some extra love and positivity. I appreciate you, Hail Metallica, sending lots of love. Really means the world to me. Eric Yak says, Eric Jacques says, grateful for your positive words and rants. That's what I do best. Sending you lots of love. Appreciate your support. Steve asks, what do you think of Billy Carson's theories? Sorry if you've been through. Actually, I don't know, which is really funny. I've never looked into anything about Billy Carson, but I've seen some, and I'm not trying to start any drama right now. So this is not like a report back to someone else and be like, he's talking about you situation. But I have seen on several occasions people in my own community bring up that apparently Archaics, who has been somebody who's communicated with me several times. I've done a couple podcasts with him. Haven't spoke to him in a long time though, but needless to say, I have actually spoke to Jason. He apparently has some beef with Billy Carson, and I have no idea what Billy Carson's about, what he does, like what his expertise is, what he specializes in. So it's just interesting to hear that name come up, but only from that particular angle, from like I guess there's some just conflict. And you know me, I avoid conflict at all fucking costs. It's like I'm moving on. Peaceful Warrior Dojo, interesting that we just mentioned this, says Jason from Archaics, he talked about Terrence Howard. He exposed him the same as you. Yes, he is set up. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure what anyone else has spoken on this individual, Terrence Howard, beyond what I've felt into. But I'm really not trying to expose him. Like, I'm not. That's not my agenda here with I don't want to expose Terrence Howard. There's nothing to expose. He is a Hollywood actor. He's just a Hollywood actor. Like, that's it, So it's like, what are we even diving deep into? Like, if your IMDb credits are thicker than your experience of being a supposed woke interviewer, Why did it take, like, how old is this individual? 50 years or something to decide that? Because that's what it says in the beginning of this, and I know this might sound like I'm trying to expose them now, but I'm just working with the material they gave us. But this individual in the podcast, in the first 20 to 30 minutes, goes through the whole story about, like, being aware and conscious of, like, being born and all of this stuff, and, like, how they were, enlightened and aware of this stuff at the age of, like, 7 or 8 years old. But meanwhile, like, where are they at now? Like, in their 40s, maybe turning 50 years on this earth plane, and now they're finally on the internet or on the interview circuit, being asked about, like, quantum physics and all this shit about, like, relativity. And don't you think it's kind of weird? Like, now you're able to do these. I don't know. I just, like, kind of like everything about it's awkward. Alexander Torres, appreciate you. Sending you lots of love. You said, big fan of your content. Also, know you're the. No, don't call me that. You said, I've recently developed a blood clot in my leg. I'm also on blood thinners. Just an FYI, got any advice from me? Not a fan of pharma. Getting effectively hydrated is huge for this. Coconut water should be like your go-to. Get on distilled water. Start getting some more juices, and I would maybe stick to things like beet juice, celery juice, cilantro, parsley, cucumber to make it have more volume. And I would just do like a juice of that. Get on the distilled water. Get as much coconut water as you could afford comfortably. Like, don't break the bank with it. If you can get fresh coconuts, even better. You could probably buy them in bulk somewhere, or I'm sure you could figure it out. But yeah, that's really it. And another thing is consider doing a dry fast, because with the dry fast, you're going to now push out a lot of this. One second. Sorry, guys. I really have to go. All right, Alexander, I appreciate you. I believe I gave you some pretty solid guidance on this. Just go with the beet juice, cucumber, celery. What else did I say? Parsley, cilantro. Get a bunch of that in you. Coconut water, distilled water. Quick clarification: you do or you do not want to have cloudy urine in the morning. You want to have cloudy urine. It should look like a snow globe. But don't get obsessed with that shit. Just think about it as if it's like in the morning. All right. I love you guys. I love you guys. I have to go. It's been 2.5 hours. I stayed overtime. This was like fucking the season finale of something. I'm sending you guys lots of love. I appreciate every single one of you, all the support today. Tomorrow, I will have this new Red Pill podcast available at patreon.com/watersabove. Really looking forward to it. And then I will be introducing a list of all the art that will be within this new crypto decoding blueprint that's set to release very, very soon. Really excited to get that out. About 15 new videos will be added to my decoding mastermind course over at watersabove.com. So those of you that already have that course, no further actions needed. You will be given this for free, just included in that course. And then for anyone who wants to support the art and wants the decoding mastermind course, it's available on my website. And then very soon you'll have 15 new videos added. So lots of value. I haven't changed the price since it's been available on my website. So best I could do right now. And I'm really appreciative of all your support. Wishing you all a beautiful rest of your Saturn day in the Matrix. Much love, family.